My name is Donald MacDonald. I come from Onion Lake Cree Nation. Nasaskiga Sagwit Nisigasan. Witsaguskasiusaga Ganutsinia. I was born and raised in and around Onion Lake First Nation, and as a young boy, I was kind of given to my grandparents, my kukum and my musum, and but growing up with them, my first language was Cree. Kapits Natanahiwan. I still have my language, which I'm very grateful for. The next generation after me, lots of them had lost their language, and I see a lot of young people trying to go back, even the old people trying to preserve their language. And it was different for me. My first language was Cree, so it was tough for me to learn English, and that was a battle itself. But growing up with my Musum and my Gugum, they would tell stories all the time, and they would talk to me in Cree, and telling me like Niganute wi paima in Cree. That means in the future it's gonna be hard, and I can kind of see what they were talking about then to now, and I see the culture. We're losing our culture, and we're losing it really fast. And with the language, with the powwows, with the sun dances, and those are really important to who we are, because without that, then our practices are lost, right? And for our future generations, it's important for them, because they should know who we are and where we come from. Unlike in the past, they wanted to wash us and clean us and become a whole different person and nationality. And I don't think that will ever really work, because genetically we have our own foods, our own culture, and like the moose, compared to the beef. With that, our digestive system and everything, it plays a little bit different in our bodies, because our ancestors grew up on wild meat. Now we're eating preservatives, and I think that's why a lot of our people are getting sick. And with this truth and reconciliation, it's a good thing, that they are trying to make things right again. But the legwork is going to be tough to really bring the people back, because in our culture we lost our parental practices, I guess. And to be able to bring that back, they say the seventh generation will change, and I think we are there now, because I have 4 boys and 1 girl, and I'm gonna make sure that they have a chance in this world that we live in now, because I never had the opportunities. And the culture camps that these communities hold, and I'm grateful I'm able to go and share what I know and what I learned. And when I was a young boy, I remember going to these culture camps, and I remember the first thing I've ever made being an artist was a little drum, and those little drums you hang on the rear view mirrors. And I still remember the lady. She has passed on, but her name was Sharon Chokin, and she taught me how to make a little drum as a young boy. And I was so proud, and I was probably only 7, 8 years old. So my whole life, I kept making these little drums. And for me at 4 to 7 years old to remember 39 years ago of who taught me and everything, I just hope that I could leave that legacy to the younger generation that I teach today. And the importance of all of these cultural camps, is to preserve our language, our culture, and who we are as First Nations people. So when we have these cultural camps, sometimes we send the kids out to go and shoot and preserve like a deer or a moose, and we teach them how to gut them. We teach them how to dry the meat, and you know these cultural camps are very important because they're geared and towards preserving who we are as First Nations people, and to keep that tradition alive. Because once we lose that, we lose who we are. And same thing with powwows. They had powwows before, and powwows are an important thing because nowadays in the communities, and it's sad to say, but we have like relatives, close relatives, being in a relationship together, and so before, the powwows were designed to go to different gatherings so different tribes and different people can meet different people instead of having the same bloodline, right? So it's always good gatherings to have gatherings, people to come together, and that way people get to know each other's culture too, because not every culture is the same, right? Like the Sioux have different beliefs. The Sioux have different practices than the Crees. The Blackfoots have different practices than the Crees. And that's just, it's good to share and come together and share them stories amongst each other, especially with the elders. The elders are all going back to the happy hunting grounds, and when they're gone, we can't phone them and say, hey, what do we gotta do after the third round in this sweat. So that's why it's important to get all the information on all the teachings through our elders that are here today, because they've been taught from the elders before them and before them, and that's why we have Waskapeusuk. And an Waskapeus is a young man who's trained from a young boy to follow the practices, to follow a good life, and he's usually trained by an elder or somebody who's already in the practice. And after he's gone to the spirit world, well, that's where the Skapeos comes in, and he takes over because he was taught from his mentor. And yeah, so a lot of important things like that, right? Today I still practice art. I'm here at Red Pheasant, and I'm very grateful for Red Pheasant for always utilizing me. And they're like my family here, and I feel welcome here every time I come here. And it's a good feeling when people welcome you like that. And to have, I guess, the gift of sharing knowledge and teaching teaching art, and the gift of laughter, healing through laughter.